Hello, and welcome to Tim's Reflections from Ohio, a YouTube video series where we talk about and reflect on parables and stories that Jesus told, as well as general stories from his life when he was here on this earth. Today, our reflection will come from Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. And it reads, and these are Jesus' words, and it reads, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and Mammon." And normally I will read from the New King James Version, but I want to read this verse also from the Amplified Version, the Amplified Bible. And it says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will stand by and be devoted to one and despise and be against the other. We cannot serve God and Mammon, that is, deceitful riches, money, possessions, or what is trusted in." This gives us a lot to think about today. Think about our lives today. So many people are thinking they can serve the two masters. They can serve the world, which is actually serving Satan, and they can serve God at the same time. And I've thought about this over the years. It's like some Christians today have a mindset that there's a line, and anything on this side of that line is sin. Anything on this side is okay for a Christian. And if that line is sin, ideally we would want to stay as far away from this line as possible. But so many Christians today, if that's sin on this side, they want to get up as close to it as they can so that they can say, "Nope, not sinning," but they're as close to it, they're playing games as close to it as they can. And it's like the old saying, you play with fire and you're going to get burned. And that's what happens to so many Christians today. If we think about worldly success, and so many people are seeking after that success. And worldly success has to do with physical things, things that we can put our hands on, things that we can grasp, things that we can point to, like our bank account or our clothing or our jewelry or our house or car or our occupation, our job. Those kind of things, those physical things that we can actually see, touch, feel, experience. But godly success is measured differently. It says God measures our success with the yardsticks of, and where I read this from, it listed three things: obedience, faithfulness, and righteousness. And let's think about this. Think about our lives today. Are our lives more focused on the physical things, or are we more focused on the obedience and faithfulness to God? And it's easy to say, "Yep, I'm focused on God," but does our life really show that today? If we have children, are we taking time every day to teach them about God? Before they go to bed at night, are we reading them a Bible story and praying with them and changing their thought process from the things of the world, the physical things, the toys, the exciting things that they might have? Are we changing those to things about God and making that exciting so that they can go to sleep at night thinking, I have nothing to be afraid of in the dark. God is with me. Are we praying with our children before they go to bed at night? Are we so tired because we've been working so many hours, trying to do so many things so that we can buy more physical things, that we're leaving out obedience to God in some of the other things? Are we faithful to Him? Are we faithful to the things that He has told us in His Word, to the commands that are there? Are we faithful in those things? And are we living righteous lives? Are our lives Do people who know us know that they can trust us to do the right thing? Or do they think, yeah, okay, I know they said they would do this, but they don't always keep their promises, so I'm just not sure. If Jesus were here on this earth, people would know that they could trust him. They would know that he would keep his word. And they also today know that his children keep their word also. So let's think about this again. Back to this verse. You cannot serve God and mammon, that is deceitful riches, money, possessions, and what is trusted in. What do we trust in? Back when, if we think back to 3 years ago when COVID was just starting getting bad, there were all these stories that there were the stores, and even in the early days of it, the stores were running short on toilet paper and people would go out and stock up on it and things. And I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with that, but I think that sometimes instead of trusting in God, we trust in what we can do ourselves. It's like the person who has a huge bank account, they don't have to worry. They don't have to, I'm sure they don't feel like they have to trust God to, and I'm talking about worldly people, non-Christians. They're not trusting God to provide the money every month to make the house payment or the car payment or the credit card payment. But the person who doesn't have that big bank account, who's kind of living day to day, month to month, they do need to trust God. They have more incentive, they feel more of a need, I guess is what I want to say, to trust in God and to rely upon him, because they don't always know where the rent payment is going to come from, or where the food money or the prescription money is going to come from. We need to trust him no matter what is happening in our lives. No matter, we may just say that we just got a big promotion at work, which means a nice increase in salary. We still need to trust God because he gave it to us, and it could be taken away at any time. So many people lose their jobs because the company closed the doors, because there were cutbacks, and all those other things that happen. So many people are downsized and they're out the door. They thought they had a secure job and it was gone. Back a long time ago, I went from high school directly into college, and I just wasn't real focused on college. And I was there for a little over a year, and I quit college. And I had two goals in my life, just two things. I was very immature at the time. And my two goals were, one was to get a job, and the second goal was to buy a new pickup truck. And within a few months after I had quit college, I had accomplished both of those goals. I had a job, and I was driving a brand new pickup truck. At that point, I had reached all my goals. Like I said, I was very immature at the time. But I found out later on that reaching those kind of goals doesn't bring happiness. Yeah, I was excited driving my new truck, but there was still something missing. And that something missing was the presence of God in my life, seriously. And I later on went back to school, finished college, and earned my degree. I was in my early 30s at the time, married and with two children. It would have been a whole lot easier if I had done it in the beginning, finished in the beginning. But sometimes we learn the hard way. But I tell you this because I've experienced what it means trying to find your happiness in the world. The things that the physical things, they don't bring happiness. Today, I have pictures of that truck, but it's been long gone, and it's probably in a junkyard somewhere if we knew the truth about it. But the lasting things, the things that the obedience, the faithfulness, those things, they stick with us forever. I have memories of times when people were faithful to God in my life, that I was connected with them and I observed their faithfulness, and I was blessed by their faithfulness. And I have those memories, even though some of those people are long gone today. They're in the grave. Our obedience to God. Think about this. What do we want our descendants, our children, our grandchildren, what do we want them to remember when we're gone? Do we want them to remember, yep, there's dad, there's grandpa, there's mom, there's grandma, there's aunt or uncle, whatever the relationship is. Yep, there they are. They were always focused on things of the world. You went to their house, the TV was always on, playing inappropriate things, or they were always had the newest car, the latest model, the latest gadgets. They had the fanciest cell phone, the latest, most update cell phone. They had all of those things. Yep, that was grandpa. Or do we want them to remember us and to say, I remember going to grandma and grandpa's house, and when I went to their house, there would be Christian music playing. There was a peace that was in that house. They didn't have a lot. It wasn't fancy, but at the same time, I felt contented there. I felt loved there, and I knew I could always go there and knock on that door, walk in the door if it was unlocked, and it was fine. It was just like my home away from home. Is that the way we want it to be? If that is truly our desire, then we need to make sure that our lives today are focused on the right things. Jesus said, you can't serve God and the things of the world. We need to set the things of the world to the side, and we need to put our focus on God, so that every day we're putting His word into our lives, that we're praying and talking to Him, that we're cultivating that relationship with Him every day. Because sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the world. It's so easy to get distracted from Him. And that's why it takes we need to be disciplined, so that our focus is never pulled away from Him, that we're looking at Him no matter what, so that He will guide us, that we will be obedient, faithful, and living righteous lives for Him. We need so badly to do that. I encourage you today to think about what I've said here. Think about it. Pray about your life. Where are you? Who are you serving? Are you serving God, or are you serving Mammon, the things of the world? It's there. Sometimes we just don't think about it. We think, yes, I'm providing for my family. That's what I'm supposed to do. But if all you're doing is working long hours to provide for your family, but you're ignoring the other things, you're too tired after working all those hours to take the family to church, something's wrong. Something needs to change. Well, that's it for today. I'll leave the reflection here. I encourage you to pray about it, think about it, talk to God. Say, do I need to make changes? Show me where I'm focused on the wrong things. He will reveal that to you if you truly desire it. Again, thank you for viewing. If you've been blessed, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And please feel free to leave a comment. And remember, never forget this, that God loves you. He loves you so much that He sent His Son Jesus to die a horrible death for you, so that you would have a chance to live in eternity in heaven with Him. Thank you again for viewing. Have a blessed week.